Okay, I'm here with Patrick Ky, President of EASA, just to ask a few questions about how are we going to tackle the post-pandemic period. Hello, very nice to have you. I know you are in a rush.
Yes, sorry for that.
As always, EASA, European Aviation Safety Agency. So, was safety on the brink of collapse as well because of this pandemic?
Never. We never took any risk in terms of safety. There were new types of risks, of course, with the pandemic that we hadn't seen before, but we were never taking any risk. And otherwise, of course, we would have taken action. But I can say that during the pandemic, after the pandemic, safety was as high, if not higher than before.
Do you think it was the right way that the aviation industry actually answered reacted to this crisis? It was a disaster, actually, a real disaster for the aviation industry. The worst
well, I think that the way in which the crisis was handled was mostly done by governments. It was not done by the industry itself.
Yeah.
But given the constraints imposed by governments, the aviation industry did great in terms of flexibility, in terms of adapting to the new regulations, adapting to the new needs of the customers, and I think we can be very proud of the work that we have done all together.
Actually, the idea of the question was disparcelation. I mean, reaction of the countries was quite different, and there was no oversight on it. So, what are the lessons learned from that kind of a crisis?
The lessons learned, indeed, health decisions were taken on a national basis.
Yeah.
And that created a lot of problems in an industry where in Europe, 70% of the flights cross at least one border. So that means that, if you are confined to national borders, you fly only 30% of the flights.
Yeah.
And that means that we had to get some level of cooperation between countries, and some were willing to do it, others less, and that created a lot of complications for us. But with the push from the industry, with the airlines, airports saying, okay, we are ready to do more than what is really needed. We are ready to do that together. That helped a lot in restarting at least aviation.
Are the countries now more readily accepting oversight on their regulation, or actually getting a few steps back because they saw what happened?
I think it depends as well on the country. Yeah. The health ministries are still extremely cautious. There is this notion of zero risk that they are leading their policies with. They don't recognize any oversight from anybody else, and that's a bit the difficulty. Now, it's the role of governments to do the right balance between, what are the health constraints, what are the economic constraints, and try to do what also the people want, the citizens want. So I think in the overall mixture, this is the type of oversight that is being performed. It's what is done for the good of the citizens, and not only for one particular part of the industry.
Exactly. What are the next steps going forward for EASA on the path to recovery?
So I think we are now back to almost normal in terms of operations. We are still very vigilant on risks which are dealing with qualification of pilots, on the supply chain and things like this. So we are monitoring everything, but I think we are back to normal from our perspective.
Ad hoc questions in terms of manufacturers. We also were in a really disastrous crisis before the pandemic. What are the lessons from that one? I mean, Boeing and the Maxes and so on.
No, but that would require a lot of time.
Yeah.
There are also again a number of lessons learned that we worked with our colleagues from the FAA, with our colleagues from Boeing, from Airbus, with all the industry, and I think we learn from our mistakes. That's one of our strengths.
Last question regarding the smaller countries around Europe. Do you think that EASA has enough oversight on what they're doing locally?
Yes, we do. So,
and do you need more input into synchronization of the regulations?
So that's our work. That's our job. We do spend a lot of efforts in not necessarily small countries, but countries which may be a bit behind the others in terms of level of oversight, technical knowledge, especially in innovative technologies. And what we try to do is to really support them, provide them with the tools, benchmarking, help them, participate to some of our audits in other countries so that they learn from the best practices. So it's working well. It's working well so far.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.